So I am really happy to introduce a new guest onto my podcast today, and we are going to be talking about something that's so important to everyone, really, about our health. And specifically today, we're going to be talking about why there's such an obesity problem, the implications of carrying excess fat, and most importantly, what we can do about it. Because with everything going on in this mad world, personally, I think we both believe that one of the most important things that we can do is take back control of our health, because when you are physically vibrant, that affects your mental health and really everything about your attitude about how you can cope with everything that's going on in the world. So I want to welcome an amazing lady. I don't know where to start with you, Sam, but Sam Patrick, you've been a nurse, you've been in the pharmaceutical industry, and more recently, naturopath and health performance coach. But so much more than that, mum, advocate, and really a game changer for everything that's going on. So a big welcome to the podcast. And please tell everyone a little bit about yourself and your journey.
Well, thank you. And it's been beautiful how we've connected. And, I feel like we've been walking similar walks in different parts of the world, which is always gorgeous to connect. My
Mm.
voice probably gives it away. I'm in Australia and currently based, well, it's teeming down rain and storming outside at the moment, but I live at a beautiful part of the world, which has a beautiful beach. I grew up in a place called Tassie and, yes, qualified as a nurse. And knew from the age of 10 that I wrote down exactly what I wanted to do with my life at the age of 10, and have kind of stuck to that reasonably strongly. So qualified in nursing and pharmaceuticals for 9 years, always worked 6, 7 days a week. But I have always, my mum died when I was 12.
Oh.
So, part of that was being then handed around to different relatives whoever put their hand up that summer, that would be, your new parent for the season. Look, it wasn't that bad, but, I was handed around quite a lot. And my nonna is Italian, so I ended up there from grade 10 onwards. But nonna was always my figurehead of, that just brought me back to earth. And he was an avid gardener, like a lot of Italians, and he would always be out the back with a hoe, and I'd always be following him, planting things and soil under my nails. And I really believe that it was those anchoring memories that kept me sane through. Even now, I've got a little veggie patch, and if I'm feeling a bit of disarray or incohesion in myself, I'll just go and buy a sapling and start putting my fingers in the dirt. It's just one of those things that's always brought me back to centering. And part of that was starting to appreciate when I was really young and I entered nursing, is that food heals people. Food also can damage people, but more importantly, to get out of the pickle, you need really good, and excuse the pun on the pickle, but you need great food.
Yeah.
And, that's kind of held me in great stead for many years. And then after starting pharmaceuticals, I always had this open chapter of, I want to know more about pharmacopoeia of plants.
Yeah.
So studied, and I think you're similar, we see the magic in the constituents of plants, and most drugs are derived from plants. In fact, they all are. So for me, returning to source and using things that are natural is the most empowering way to master your health. And so I trained as a naturopath in the turn of the century, and I've had my own clinic since 2002. So yeah, that's kind of it.
I love it. And I love the synchronicities. And actually, when you were saying that, Sam, about there's so much recognition now about the health benefits of getting back to nature anyway. And I think with the shenanigans that many people have woken up to about what's going on, people are realizing that connection and that nature really does have all the answers, and we're getting back to that. And my grandma used to always say that, when she was an avid gardener and vegetable grow and everything, and when she put her hands in the soil, it was like all the problems were going away, because you're getting that communication network. We now know the link between the soil microbiome and our microbiome and how much communication goes on there. So I absolutely love that, and I love your wealth of experience, because I think it's so important to see both sides of things, because of course it's not often a black or white solution, but we are in a stage now as humanity, unlike any other species, apart from the species that unfortunately share their lives with humans, so we make the decisions for them, where it's very difficult now for people to bring their bodies back into balance. You know, there's so many problems with the food chain. We're not getting the nutrients, and we've got this huge obesity epidemic across all our countries of people watching this, which is a terrible state for people to be in. Talk us through, because you're a real expert in this area, and talk us through briefly, how do you think we've got here, and most importantly, where's the hope for people?
Yes, sorry, I've had a cold, so if I cough, sorry about that. Yes, I actually started specializing in hormones in 2009, and I wrote my first book on high testosterone in girls and why that was happening, because it happened to me, and at the time there wasn't much research on it. And since then I've published 11 books, and this is my last one this is the 8th one. It's on hormones in weight and why we have got to this point. Now, as a coronary care trained nurse as well, I've always been passionate about weight. Like, I don't think there's any health condition that isn't impacted by weight. And definitely with 70% of affluent countries being overweight, it's naive to think that's not impacting on skyrocketing numbers of cancer and heart disease and diabetes. Of course it is. And why is that happening? Well, I think, when I hear, and I don't want to diss medical professionals, because hopefully they'll listen to this and hear a different slant of things, but just to sit back as a health provider and go, oh, we don't know what's caused it. We don't know why childhood obesity has tripled in the last 20 years. We can't figure out why we're doing more knee operations and gastric bands than ever before. What's going on? It's like the only things that have really changed significantly in our lifestyle in the last 20 to 30 years has been our food and how adulterated that is, and stuff we're calling food, which really isn't. Like, you go through the ingredients panel, it's like, apart from sugar being the first ingredient, the rest are all chemicals. And, how does that even get categorized as a food when it's a chemical soup? Inactivity and hormone changes. So for me, understanding weight as a hormone imbalance opens opportunities, because it's, a lot of people are, I think, feel shame around food because they've just been, tried so many things, and then no one wants to change yummy foods. Like, I struggle changing foods I love. So when you land on something you love that's healthy for you, it's like, yes, it's total freedom when you fortunately love healthy food. But for many people, they don't. The hormones calling them back to things like sugar, which lights up their dopamine. It's just going to draw them in. So when they're feeling bad at work, they're just going to reach into their drawer and, grab some lollies, and it's going to make them feel pleasure and peace. And it might be the only control they have in their day. So I really see stress, expectations that we possibly put upon ourselves, because now we can compare ourselves on TVs and screens, which we never had before. And just different things like that are creating this hormone soup, which is leading to inflammation, weight gain, and a real struggle to lose it. I don't know if I answered the question.
Yeah,
I can ramble.
I think it's great, because it's always so much complex. There's a lot of shaming that goes on in terms of, oh, you're just eating too much and not exercising. And of course, that's a part of it. But actually, in a lot of places in the world, when I travel to America, it's bad enough over here. But, people haven't got access to real food anymore that's not chemically laden, that's messing up, as you say, their whole hormonal structure. So it is genuinely pretty difficult for some people to start that journey. And there's so many associated health risks associated with, the visceral fat that we talk about. Even people that aren't visibly obese can have a lot of the wrong type of fats, can't they, in their body?
That's right. Look, a really big, where we're so diagnostic in Western medicine, or allopath, what is deemed the right way, which is going to your doctor, getting diagnostic tests, and that's considered gold standard in medicine and treating health or treating illness, whereas I think it's missing a lot of the point. And so when we become diagnosticians and not talking to the person and listening to what's going on in their life, we're missing 90% of the picture. And just looking at a result going, oh yeah, your BMI is this, but not listening to the person who can't lose weight because they've got a fatty liver underneath all that is really missing the picture. So depending on this, I was taught this, you know, I discovered this in about the year 2000. I actually worked for Pfizer, dare I say it, years ago, doing this audit for GPs. It was just this kind of edging out so I could start up my clinic role. And I was doing cholesterol audits through the GP's clinic. So I'd go in. Over that year, I had access to 100,000 people's cholesterol profiles. And interesting, and this is backed up by, you know, I'd say blue chip research, a lot of people with high cholesterol are normal sized. There's this thing that, oh, you've got to be overweight to have high cholesterol, or eating rubbish food to have high cholesterol. It's like you're missing the 90% of the person. The person's stressed all the time. And cortisol is the driving factor that led to the increase in cholesterol, not their eating. So, you know, but working off numbers is really naive. It's only skimming the surface of people. And you're right, plenty of normal sized people have dysfunction and hormone imbalances going on within them that are missing out on the care or the support or the insights that they really need.
Yeah, it's so important. One of the things I'm really happy to be discussing today, and this is how Sam and I really connected on so many different areas, is there's a new product out in the market that's a natural fat burning or weight loss product that really fits with the ethics of about how we both work and bringing the body back into balance. So you've had this hops-based product in Australia for longer. It's literally just launched last week in the UK. In America, it's been out for a few more months. Let's start talking to people about that and why we're both so excited about giving people this option.
Yeah, so, you know, we're both into plants and the pharmacodynamics that they offer people, and how, you know, we know that certain weeds will kill people. We also know that certain plants will heal people. And the true power of plantology, or, you know, I'm a herbalist, so, you know, trained in herbal medicine. And so this newer product, whilst it is new in its current format, has been around for probably centuries. So it's a hops product, and we, you know, hops is one of the major constituents in beer, and hops can be quite bitter, which is why when, you know, I don't drink beer, but I prefer wine, thanks, darling. But, you know, when you drink beer, it's like, well, that's my response to beer. I'm like, oh, it's the bitter part of the hops. Now, so as a herbalist, I've been using hops for 20 odd years to help improve sleep, lower cortisol. It's an anxiolytic, so it helps calm people down. They feel better on it. This particular company in the States, which is super exciting, has extracted a part of the flower that seems to target fat with all the other benefits. Now, hops can target fat regardless. Before this product came out, there's plenty of research papers to demonstrate that, probably because it drops cortisol. But this one seems to work slightly differently, targeting brown fat. So in the body, we've got white fat cells and brown fat cells. Brown fat's job is to get the white fat to release all the stored energy. So if these are dormant and not doing their job, then these will just keep, you know, storing all that white fat tissue. So this works on here that tells that, and then we can release, really all fat is stored energy. So we can release all that, and it seems to work for majority of people reasonably quickly as well, which is fantastic. And not only are they getting that brown fat, white fat release, they're also sleeping better, feeling better in themselves. Like a girlfriend of mine is a personal trainer, and she doesn't, you know, she's taunt, strong, all this sort of thing. And she just keeps going, I feel so good. You know, I'm thinking clearer. And I'm like, yeah, hops can be a superfood for a lot of people.
I love it. And as you say, I'm so passionate because both of us have been using hops for years and years. But what this company have managed to do by making this standardized extract is really target the part of the hops, as you say, that's working on those metabolic pathways and bringing so much of that process back into balance, because we're all surrounded, and it can be quite depressing for people, for all the things that we know are knocking us out of balance. So this is something that's working with our body's own metabolic pathways to bring everything back into balance. And I think the testimonials that we're seeing are absolutely fantastic. And I think, like you've just touched on there, Sam, there's so many benefits because in this fat, in this visceral fat, we also have a lot of toxins stored in the body. It's one of the areas of the body that the way that the body keeps those toxins out of vital areas. Talk us through the impact of actually how important losing that fat is to also lose a lot of that toxicity stored in there.
Yeah, so when our body, is exposed to toxins, environmental, so exogenous ones, chemicals, paints, carpet fumes, food, vaccines through chickens, all that gets accumulated in the body. Now we try and conjugate it in the liver and pass it out, or sweat it out, or breathe it out. And we also produce our own endogenous waste matter as well. Now, depending on how much stress load or toxic load is on that person, will really bring those systems and those natural processes under the pump. So you can imagine the average person who's working downtown London, who is busy, stressed, doesn't know if their job's going to last longer than 3 months. So working back, not getting much daylight, hasn't taken their shoes off and touched the earth for 3 months. How much toxic load is accumulating in their body? So the body cleverly goes, well, we can't have this circulating. I can't keep up excreting it. So what I'm going to do is store it. And I'll store it in places like, interesting, even bone marrow, but fat cells. It'll store it in the liver, the spleen, and fat cells. So the white cells or the adipose tissues, apart from having stored calorific, energy in there, will often have toxic matter. Now, that means the person's housing a lot of sickness right inside them.
Yeah.
And that's, that's that deadly combination of, why did Auntie Joan end up with a autoimmune disease or motor neuron disease or breast cancer? It's like, maybe her body had too much toxic load, who knows? But to help your body be optimal, and I really agreed with what you said before when we started, the number one thing people can do at the moment is focus on making sure that they're healthiest, strongest they can be, because we know that things can change quickly and you want to be top of your game. So having low toxic load is one of the smartest strategies, and that has the fringe benefit of also not having that white fat. So interesting though, I might just put a caveat in here. When people start to open up those white fat channels, sometimes toxic matter will leach out into their body. So they have to drink, and they'll get like a little mini detox effect. Drink lots of water, flush that stuff out. If they want to do dry skin brushing or increase their exercise or increase their green leafy veggies, do other things that help the body detoxify, that would be really beneficial for them as well.
I so agree with all of that. And with this product, one of the advantages I'm working with Sam and another group of lovely people on it. And this is the beauty, is there's such great support with it. So talk us through how people use the product, because you've had it in Australia. So talk us through how people actually use the product and some of the testimonials that you've had for people that that have been using it, including yourself.
Yes, and I wish I'd had one. I was going to run out and grab some before. How pathetic is that? Anyway, let's just improvise. So at the moment, currently, they're called like a snap, like a little tomato sauce thing that you squish open and put on a meat pie. Obviously, we wouldn't do that. No one else listening would be doing that, but that's what it's like, a little snap. Squirch, and the extract is fairly odorless, tasteless, it's clear. You can put it into any liquid. You can put it straight in your mouth, but most people are putting it into something to drink. The company's line is they're saying, put it in alcohol. Yeah. I'm kind of like, well, you can do that, but why wouldn't you put it in a beautiful juice? But anyway, or a broth, it doesn't matter. So squirt it in. They are replacing that with a drop bottle eyedropper soon, and I think they'll just have the snaps available for people when they're traveling. Yeah. So you can order a combination of both, which is really cool because I really like them. In terms of the results I'm seeing on people, they're using an app, and there are plenty, of bioimpedance scanners that people can use, which are probably a lot more accurate. But this little particular one's on the phone, and you literally stand in front of it, turn side on, and you can compare week to week. Now, some of those, I had to do that for myself, of course, and lost 3 centimeters and 3 off my tummy, and I needed to after a little had 2 months in Italy, and I can't blame Italy. I was, I don't know. I think I was stressed, believe it or not. But that's all coming down now. And a lot of other people, the testimonials are just inspiring because, look, I like yourself, I've been in the weight loss health industry for 37 years. And for me, this is the first time I've been able to give people what they want. And then I can give the other layers of what they need. People don't want to be told up front, oh, you're going to have to change this, change that. They just want something they can go in. Done my bit, that they can cope with. Then when they get results and they're more motivated and they're happier, then it's like, hey, I've got this great recipe. I've just thought about walking, and the other layers that we know are really important can be introduced. But people don't necessarily want to start with that. They've done that before. But most people who are trying to lose weight, it's not their first time in their life. Like, this is their, not 20th, 19th time.
Yes.
And yeah, it's unfortunately for a lot of people, it's a recurring theme that has become a traumatic theme. So to give them something that's so simple that in majority of cases gets results straight away is such a joy. And this is one of those things I'm just glad to be alive for, because I can see that we can spin around a lot of obesity globally with this. Just because of the machinations of it. It's just exciting.
It's so exciting because what this is, just to summarize for people, it's something that you can start with your health journey right today. And you can, I say, I think in the UK, we're starting with the dropper bottles mainly, and then we get the snaps, a few of those as well. But it's so easy. Add it to any drink or directly in your mouth. Once a day or twice a day, depending on what your goals are and what your starting position is, and we will help you with that. So that's the beauty, is you get access to us to help you through that. And when people are already suffering with so much chronic stress, and a lot of my listeners are, it's almost like the more you know what's going on in the world, the more you've got to worry about. But actually, ignorance isn't bliss, because these problems are building up. It's just, you don't want them to hit them when it's too late to do anything about it. So for those people that are watching this, where they need something to start, I think you said that so beautifully, Sam. This is a perfect way for people to start their health transformation, because when people start to shed that excess fat, start to shed the toxins, get their energy back, get their cortisol levels and sleep, we're not making any claims with this, but these are the type of things you'll be monitoring when you start, to see how it's working for you. And the way it will work for everyone will be slightly different, because we're all at different starting points. So, there's no sort of promises that you'll lose this amount of weight or this amount of straight away. But most of the people are getting fantastic results. And then if you want to, you'll be in a much better place to then sort of carry on that health journey and go even further as far as you want to go with it. It just, people need somewhere, as you say, to start, where they're going to get real results, that then are giving them back their energy to make these other changes, whatever that might be for their lives.
Yeah, and I don't know about your experience of this, but certainly when people come to me, they might say, I'm coming to see you for weight. And I'll go, well, why do you need to lose weight? Well, what's going to happen for you? What's going to be different in your world when you've lost some weight? I'm going to have more confidence. That's the number one reason why people say to me they want to lose weight. There might be, I want to improve my health or whatever, but the number one thing is they want to feel better about themselves. They want to feel successful about something that they've tried multiple times and might have been successful for an 8-week boot camp that was eating, a couple of leaves and swirling a carrot in water, and then it's regained. Like that, they have felt a failure on this topic. And we're talking about, me, lots of people. I think it hits different people at different phases, particularly menopause. It can be a real rude awakening. It's like, hang on, haven't changed anything else and all this weight's going on. Like, what is that? And it just gives people a low hanging fruit opportunity to start getting some control back in their life, and a real, little, I feel good about myself, like what a great joy for people.
I love it. So there's going to be so many resources below. In the link below, there will be a sign up where you can sign up, and I will then send you loads of information. It's got all my contact details as well, because one of the things I do is give a lot of support for this. If you're ready for it, you will also see it's open in quite a lot of countries across the globe now, more coming. So if this is something that you think you need to know or a loved one needs to know about, because unfortunately the obesity epidemic is hitting the younger people really hard, really, really hard. It's not just as we sort of creep up in age that we're suffering from this. It's all ages now, both sexes, etc. So take a look at the information below, reach out, and we will be back to give lots more support and lots more updates. Now, Sam has got loads of different books, loads of different resources on her website, and obviously offers individual programs as well. So all Sam's details will be below if you want to connect directly on with her as well. Any final words from you, Sam?
No, it's just no, yes. Yes, look, I think at the end of the day, helping one person with empowerment is a gift. So, you doing what you're doing will help, a huge radius of people, and people within there will also help people. And this is what I see about the biggest opportunities. This could reverse obesity. As a human, as a species, we've failed at so much. But this we might be able to nail with this just one thing, which I don't know. I go to bed excited, I'll wake up excited. So yeah, it's really cool. So, but thank you for
and I just want to add to that as well, because the reason why Sam and I mean, Sam's work is phenomenal, and the reason we're so passionate about this is to have a safe, natural option. Unfortunately, a lot of the other options that are being offered to people at the moment are neither of those, and it's very upsetting as a health practitioner to see, because people need solutions, but they need things that are safe and natural, that's going to work with their body, not cause more problems to them. So I really encourage everyone to look at this. You're going to hear lots more about it, because we're so excited, because when we take that health back, the toxicities, everything in life becomes easier. Everything, you feel more capable in every aspect of your life. So thank you so much for joining us today, Sam. I know what a busy lady
Thanks for watching, everyone.
Thanks for watching, everyone. All the details will be below. Take care.
Thank you so much for taking time to listen. And if you feel inspired, please do share with your friends and family. This helps us spread the word, and also helps me encourage some exciting new guests to take part in this podcast. And above all, stay curious and stay free.